It's no secret that a majority of the most influential celebrities in the world are Democrats. From pop megastars, to corporate media giants, to multi-billion-dollar hedge fund managers. It's also no secret that the two strongholds for Democratic influence in the United States are Los Angeles and New York City. So today I'm going to take you through the top 15 mega billionaire donors to the Kamala Harris 2024 campaign. Coming in at number 15 with a donation of $500,000, we have the Devil Wears Prada star, aka Vogue editor-in-chief Miss Anna Wintour. Miss Wintour is the editor-in-chief of Vogue magazine and a fashion icon, although she's known to have a bit of a reputation for being hard to work with.
That movie, The Devil Wears Prada, and it was made about you and your organization, and you, good luck, were the devil in the title. But you know what my point is? A lot of people say, oh, she's tough. Look out. She'll chew you up and spit you out and fire you and then chew you up and spit you into a cab.
Miss Wintour was criticized heavily in 2020 and accused of being out of touch with matters of race relations and representation. She featured then newly elected Vice President Kamala Harris on the cover, which got a ton of backlash. Mostly because A, she made an executive decision to place Kamala Harris in sneakers instead of high heels, which many people thought was indistinguished and unprofessional. But B, they also lightened Kamala Harris's skin tone on the cover, which is just weird. At 14, with a campaign contribution of $570,000, we have the co-founder of Home Depot, Mr. Ken Langone. Now, Mr. Langone actually has a long history of supporting Republican candidates, which makes this campaign contribution rather unique. He's also not one to shy away from controversy or in his criticism against the Democratic Party. In fact, he previously compared the treatment of rich Americans under the Obama administration to the Nazis' treatment of Jews in Europe during World War II. All right. Now at 13, with a donation of $700,000, we have hedge fund manager Leon Black. Now, Mr. Black might not be the most publicly known on this list, but he's definitely one of the most powerful. Recently, however, Mr. Black has been a little bit more public with controversy, being directly tied to Jeffrey Epstein. This public revelation led to Mr. Black stepping down as Apollo Management's CEO. At 12, with a donation of $715,000, we have the Disney heiress herself, Miss Abigail Disney. Abigail Disney has been described by the Washington Post as being at war with her family's legacy. Disney has taken a pretty hard left turn in recent years. Disney has been one of the major players in the diversity, equity, and inclusion movement in the United States. This move has not only led many to boycott Disney as a whole, but has also left Disney with a stock chart as of late that looks more like a roller coaster ride than that of a blue chip Fortune 500 company.
Do you know how much Disney has lost in a year and a half of their stock? Do you know how much they lost?
I don't know the details, but I do know I've read a good amount about just like, I don't know if it's the boycotting just of like the certain movies that they're putting out like that, but I've seen it go down.
So $195 billion. They've lost 56% of their stock.
Disney's sizable contribution to the Kamala Harris campaign shows that Disney is confident that a Harris administration would continue to pursue woke and progressive ideologies.
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke.
Coming in at number 11 with a donation of $718,000, we have billionaire hedge fund manager and owner of the New York Mets, Stephen A. Cohen. It was determined in 2013 that Stephen A. Cohen's SAC Capital had to pay a whopping $1.8 billion fine for insider trading. In 2013, this was the biggest insider trading scandal of all time. Also coming on the heels of the Occupy Wall Street movement, which was a citizens' rally cry against the corruption of Wall Street, mostly championed by left-wing activists. Cohen's contribution to the Kamala Harris campaign is being met with mixed reactions, with some, even within her own party, raising concerns of the effect of big money in politics, especially hedge fund managers from Wall Street.
Get big money out of our political process. Billionaires in both parties should not be able to buy elections, including primary elections.
Up next at number 10 with a $1 million contribution, we have America's girl next door, Chelsea Clinton. Chelsea Clinton is the daughter of former President Bill Clinton and former presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. In recent years, Chelsea has been criticized for leveraging her family name to gain influence in corporate America. Good old-fashioned nepotism. Her $1 million donation to the campaign is seen as an extension of the Clintons' ever-present influence in Democratic politics. Coming in at number 9 with a donation of $1.5 million, we have Jeffrey Katzenberg. For those who don't know, Jeffrey Katzenberg is the co-founder of DreamWorks Studio, one of the biggest studios in the world and one of the studios responsible for so many iconic movies. Katzenberg has been very vocal on the reckoning that Hollywood is facing when it comes to sexual harassment and power dynamics in Hollywood. At number 8, with a massive campaign contribution of $1.75 million, we have Diana Taylor. You may not have heard of Diana Taylor, but she is the former New York State banking superintendent and partner of one of the most powerful men in the world, Michael Bloomberg. Now, there's a bit of a trend that's emerging here, but she has been criticized for her extensive ties to Wall Street and also her very public defense of the controversial stop and frisk policy in New York, which was, of course, implemented by her partner, Mr. Michael Bloomberg. All right, we're getting into the big money now, guys. At number 7, with a donation of $3 million, we have Mr. Principles himself, Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio is the founder of one of the biggest hedge funds in the world, Bridgewaters and Associates, but in recent years, he's more known to the general public for being a philanthropist, an educator, and an author.
The times ahead will be radically different from those that we've experienced in our lifetimes, though similar to many times before. How do I know that? Because they always have been.
I must admit, I'm actually a fan of his writings. In his book, Principles for Dealing with the Changing World Order, Dalio goes into depth writing about how the crumbling of the American empire isn't an if, but a when. He goes through several factors that contribute to the fall and decay of a society: an over-leveraged populace, disinformation and mistrust in media outlets, a lack of faith in the election process, and debasement of the currency. Now, this isn't something that's unique to the United States. He goes through the rise and fall of Chinese empires, Dutch empires, British empires, and he uses those indicators to describe why he's certain and actually betting his money that the United States is going to crumble. So I can't help but wonder if a contribution to Kamala Harris is meant to delay this inevitable crash of the United States or help implement it. Either way, I'm confident he's going to make some money on it. Anyways, coming in with a donation of $3.7 million, we have legendary actor Mr. Robert De Niro. Mr. De Niro has been one of the most active and vocal anti-Trumpers from the beginning.
He's so stupid.
Regularly calling Trump a dictator, comparing him to Hitler, etc., etc.
You read about it historically in other countries that they didn't take the people seriously. I think Hitler, Mussolini. But
even making the claim that he would move out of the United States if Trump was elected in 2016. I'm pretty sure he still lives in the United States, but whatever. Being a father of 6 at 79 years old, Mr. De Niro actually welcomed his 7th child into the world, his daughter, Gia. That's weird. Now, I know a lot of Democrats out there will say that Trump is weird or J.D. Vance is weird, but let's be honest, guys. Becoming a father for the 7th time at 79 years old is weird. In all likelihood, he's gonna pass away before his child's even in high school. That's weird and a little bit selfish, but whatever. We wish him the best. De Niro is easily one of the best actors of all time, and he's starred in some of my favorite movies. I really wish he just never would have got political, to be honest. Little known fact about Robert De Niro. In 1998, he was actually held for questioning by the French police in connection with an international prostitution ring. He denied any involvement and later filed a complaint against the examining magistrate for violation of secrecy in an investigation.
And they made a big drama out of it and came and burst into my hotel room, 7 or 8 cops, which was totally, unacceptable.
He stated at the time that he would never return to France. However, he's been a frequent at the Cannes Film Festival. In 2016, De Niro publicly defended the inclusion of a controversial documentary called Vaxxed in Tribeca's Film Festival. He explained that his interest in the documentary was actually inspired by the birth of his autistic son. The film was ultimately withdrawn from the film festival due to pressure from festival organizers and the scientific community. De Niro actually took part in a joint presentation of the documentary with lifelong Democrat turned Trump supporter Robert F. Kennedy. RFK is the chairman of the anti-vaccine nonprofit Children's Health Defense. De Niro stated on record that he's not necessarily anti-vaccine, but he definitely questions their efficacy. Although that didn't prevent him from throwing his weight fully behind the COVID jab, lockdowns, and masks, and criticizing anyone who wouldn't fall in line. Coming in at number 5 with a donation of $5 million, we have another hedge fund manager, Mr. Henry Kravis. Billionaire hedge fund founders just love Kamala Harris. Mr. Kravis is the co-founder of the hedge fund KKR, which is famous for leveraged buyouts and hostile takeovers that lead to significant job losses. His support for Harris is being seen as a signal that Harris in fact will be friendly to Wall Street, or a preemptive donation in hopes that Harris will take it easy on Wall Street. What do you guys think? At number 8, with a donation of $8 million, we have billionaire mathematician Jim Simons. Jim Simons is the founder of Renaissance Technologies. Renaissance Technologies has faced scrutiny and praise, depending on what side of the argument you fall on, for its use of advanced, complex tax avoidance strategies. Many claim that the Democratic Party is the party for the people, and for sticking it to the man and the billionaires. But an $8 million donation from a hedge fund that's known for its tax avoidance says otherwise to me. At number 2, with a campaign contribution of $9 million, we have the master of puppets himself, Mr. George Soros. Now, it seems these days, whenever you look at conspiracy theories on X or Instagram or Facebook or Reddit, George Soros is a name that frequently gets brought up. I'm not going to tell you that they're all true, just that I think they're all true. Soros has described himself as a Hungarian boy who escaped Nazi persecution during World War II. And a household rumor at this point, so much so that it's been perpetrated by the likes of Elon Musk, is that as a child, Mr. Soros actually helped the Nazis confiscate Jewish property. Soros is notorious for currency manipulation, destabilization of countries and economies, and funding senators, district attorneys, and radical leftist causes. But rather than me telling you about Mr. George Soros, because I value my life very much, I'm just going to let him tell you about himself.
While hundreds of thousands of Hungarian Jews were being shipped off to the death camps, George Soros accompanied his phony godfather on his appointed rounds, confiscating property from the Jews.
You're a Hungarian Jew who escaped the Holocaust by posing as a Christian.
Right.
And you watched lots of people get shipped off to the death camps.
Right. I was 14 years old. And I would say that that's when my character was made.
In what way?
That one should think ahead, one should understand and anticipate events, and one is threatened. It was a tremendous threat of evil. I mean, it was a very personal experience of evil.
My understanding is that you went out with this protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted godson.
Yes.
Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right. Yes.
I mean, that sounds like an experience that would send lots of people to the psychiatric couch for many, many years. Was it difficult?
Not at all. Not at all.
Soros makes huge bets on whole countries and economies. Last year, when he saw cracks in the Asia boom, he began selling the currency in Thailand. Traders in Hong Kong followed suit, triggering a financial crisis that plunged much of Asia into a depression.
In the last 2 years, you've been blamed for financial collapse of Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Japan, and Russia.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Are you that powerful?
No, I think there's a great misunderstanding.
The Prime Minister of Malaysia said that the region spent 40 years trying to build up its economy, and along comes a moron like Soros with a lot of money, and it's all over. He called you a criminal.
It's easier for him to blame an outside force than to admit that they were mismanaging their economy and their currency. I am basically there to make money. I cannot and do not look at the social consequences of what I do.
What about the American concern that aiding and abetting this move away from the dollar as the world's reserve currency ultimately means a weakening of the U.S. economy?
No, I think that is. I mean, we did have great benefits from it, but we have abused it. And I don't think we can continue abusing it anyhow. So it is not necessarily in our interest to have the dollar as the sole world currency.
Sounds like a nice guy. Coming in at my list of number 1 of New York Democrats who have contributed to the Kamala Harris campaign, we have Mr. Bloomberg himself, Michael Bloomberg, with a whopping donation of $20 million. Now, $20 million sounds like a lot of money to peasants like you and me, but in fact it pales in comparison to the astronomical $1 billion plus price tag that he spent on his own presidential bid in 2020. Bloomberg is a media giant, I don't have to tell you that, and has massive influence on public opinion. But he was quite a controversial figure during his time as mayor, implementing the New York stop and frisk policy, which, as we all know, disproportionately targeted minorities.
We have the lowest crime rate we've ever had in the history of the city, and that's particularly important to Black and Latino kids and their families and their neighborhoods because that's where the crime is.
The reason police officers make stops in Brownsville and East New York is not because of race, it is because of crime.
In New York City, some don't have the courage to stand up to special interests on the left and support common sense policing tactics like stop and frisk.
This $20 million donation to the Democratic Party is being seen as his continued support for the Democrats and their initiatives. If you made it to the end, thanks for joining me today on The Strange Times. I hope you found some value in this video, and if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help this itty bitty channel grow. I drop new content every week, and I'm hoping to ramp that up very soon. Thanks for being here, and don't forget, the truth will set you free in these strange times. By the way, what's with all these woke celebrities turning into Trump supporters?